Welcome to another episode of the STR Sisterhood. I'm your host, Stacy St, and I just want to say a huge thank you for inviting me into your day today. Now, before we jump into this amazing episode, I want to share a quote with you that I recently read. And it says, "Women are more powerful than they think." It's so simple, but so true. Those words come to us from British novelist Louise Burfitt Dawes. Now, speaking of women being more powerful than they think, I had the most wonderful conversation with my dear friend Esmeralda Alba, and I cannot wait for you to listen to this. We talk all about the power of the mind and how Esmeralda has utilized the power of her mind to create financial abundance in her life. We don't really talk a whole lot about short-term rentals specifically in this episode, although Esmeralda has her own portfolio of short-term rentals. But we talk about one of the most important topics, I believe, that can be impactful for you in your life. So without further ado, let's jump into my conversation with Esmeralda. So today we are here with Esmeralda Alba, and someone I will say has been near and dear to my heart for many years. It's so good to have you with us. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Stacy. Thank you. Thank you.
So this is going to be a really fun conversation. Normally we are talking about real estate or we're talking about hosting guests, but I want to talk about a really important topic with you that actually affects us all as business owners as well as real estate investors. And that is our mindset around money, as well as having an abundance versus a scarcity mindset. And let me just ask you, from your experience, like, when did you start realizing that there is this thing that is an abundance mindset, and specifically around money? How did that show up for you?
Honestly, it showed up in an exercise class, believe it or not, of all things. So I was actually introduced, I'm not sure if I've spoken about this before, but I was introduced to this workout called Intensati. This is probably about 12, 13 years ago. And it's an exercise program that involves mantras with movement. So basically every movement that you made, there was an affirmation that was associated to that. And it was, every week the classes change, but it was, I am strong. I am, I'm abundant. I give love. I receive love. All these wonderful, beautiful affirmations. And aside from that, the teacher, her name was Patricia Moreno. She's the one that created this practice. She's the one that really taught me the power of your mindset and the power of your words and how important it is to just pay attention to what you're saying to yourself, because what you put out or what you say or even what you think is what you're attracting. Yeah. These are the things that you're going to attract. So when you're constantly saying, I'm broke. I don't have the money. I can't pay my bills. These things you are putting out into the universe. That's exactly what you're going to receive. Yep. So it wasn't until that, honestly, that I really learned the power of your words and the power of the intention behind your words. So that's really how it all started. It had nothing to do with anything in this space or this realm. But that's really where I got started.
That is so cool. So I learned about that form of exercise through a podcast, I think, and it was probably a year ago. I was like, I got to check that out. That is so cool. And I'm all about mindset and having your brain work for you instead of against you. And what happens in my experience, it's no one sets out to have their brains work against them.
Right.
But what happens is we don't control our thoughts by nature. It's not necessarily organic for us as humans to think about, I'm going to control my thoughts and what I'm saying internally as far as internal dialogue. For me, once I learned how impactful our brains are when it comes to we're able to really, really set fuel to our fire and power behind ourselves when we train our brain to work for us. So let's go back to the time where you learned about that initially, and it was through an exercise class. Were you thinking, oh, wait a minute, I need to change my mindset around money specifically? Or did that come later on as you were exploring mindset even further?
Yeah, it definitely started. It was all around money. At the time that I was introduced to this program, to this exercise class, was the exact same time that my husband and I were forming our business. We have a window cleaning business in New York City, and we struggled really, really hard. For the first 3 years, I was basically the breadwinner of the family until we were able to get this business up and running. And we were having a really hard time financially. And it wasn't until I started to just shift my mindset that I was able to not let that negative annotation that I had against money or with money affect how I felt about it. And the more that I did that, the more I started seeing little things happening, little shifts happen, right? I would say, I wake up every morning and I go to bed every night in gratitude. Like the first thing I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for my family. I wake up with so much gratitude, because the more grateful you are for the things that you have, the more abundance that you attract into your life. So I would say, I'm so grateful for that one client that booked us last week. I'm so grateful for that one client that booked us last week. And then I'd get 2 more clients that would call and book us. And little by little, it kind of just snowballed into this whole big thing of, now we need to get staff because we don't have enough. My husband can't do work by himself anymore. And that's how it happened. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to dive into that deeper with you. I wrote about this in Live Big, where, you can visualize having a gratitude dial on your chest. And the way that I think about it is turning up that gratitude each and every day. It's like a flame. If you think about, you've got a pilot light that's burning inside of you. And when you crank up that gratitude dial, the gratitude becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. I also wake up every morning. The first thing I do is write in my 90-day momentum maker. The first question out of the gate is, what are 3 things you're grateful for today? Because I also have learned that having an attitude of gratitude helps you not only, again, organically begin to see shifts in your life, but it also makes life much more joyful, right? I remember a time where I ran over a cement median strip in Myrtle Beach. I was picking my husband up from the airport. It was late at night, and I had a brand new Honda Accord, and I shredded the underside of it, And in the moment, I thought, I can choose to be upset that I've just shredded the underside of my new car, or I can choose to be grateful that I was not hurt at all. And it's those moments where we have choices of how we react to situations, that the attitude of gratitude is actually more difficult for many people, because many people choose the frustrated path, right? Yeah. I want to talk with you about your own gratitude practice. So you said you wake up every morning in gratitude, you go to bed at night thinking about what you're grateful for. What other things have you done to shift your mindset to an abundance mindset?
Oh, goodness. So many things. So the scarcity mindset that you were talking about earlier, scarcity versus abundance, one contracts and the other expands. This is one thing that we were not born rich or with a silver spoon in our mouth, right? So I've had to shift my mindset around the lack of versus the abundance of. So I'm constantly, and it's a work in progress, right? This is something because 90% of your day, I feel like 90% of your thoughts are constantly negative. They're constantly negative. You're just constantly going over negativity in your brain, and just shifting that from, I mean, it's work. It takes a lot of work. Shifting your negative thoughts into something positive is what I try to work on, right? So something went really, really wrong today, and I have to find a way in my brain to shift it into something that went really, really well. So just like you explained about your Honda Accord, right? It's just a daily practice that I have to do.
Let's talk about that. So when something negative occurs, it's not, and I want to say this if you're listening or watching, it's not like Esmeralda and I live in a bubble, right? We still have bad things that happen to us in our daily lives. It is the choice in how we respond to those things that is what we're talking about today, right? So talk to us about a time where you had something negative happen to you, and maybe initially you were frustrated by it or upset by it.
Yeah.
What did you do to make the shift and make a different choice? Talk to us about an example of that.
Well, something that actually just happened very, very recently, very scary event. Just last weekend on Saturday night, I was on my way home from a baseball tournament. I live on baseball fields every weekend with my son, and we got into a terrible accident. It was a really, really terrible car accident. We were okay. We are okay. My son is okay. However, the vehicle that either I hit or they hit me spun out and crashed into some sort of like a median, and it was just a really bad accident. And I don't know what happened. You know, it's one of these things where it just happened in the blink of an eye, and I have no recollection. And I was solely dependent on the people that saw the entire thing, and my son, that actually yelled right before it happened, "Mom, mom, mom," where that kind of have helped me put pieces together. And I didn't sleep that entire night. And it was just, I kept going over and over and over the entire evening. Like, how could that have happened? How can I have not seen that car? And I just kept not bashing myself, but just kept putting a lot of blame on myself, right? For something that's like, I should have been in control of that. And I wasn't. I was not in control of that situation. It was the scariest thing ever. And it wasn't until I started to really just focus on, okay, had it been 1 second more, that car would have T-boned us, where my son was actually sitting in the passenger seat, right? The vehicle could have been way worse. You know, the accident could have been way worse. Like, we could have been injured. They could have been injured even further than than whatever already happened to the vehicle. And it literally took me about a good hour of just like telling myself that, we're okay. We're okay. We made it through. We were uninjured. Things happened exactly the way that they should have happened, or exactly the way that they were supposed to happen, because if not, then it would have been way worse. So that's just an example of shifting, stopping the focus on the bad and the negative, and really just shifting your mindset into, okay, this happened, but it could have been this.
Yeah.
It happened to me, but it could have been so much worse, and we're okay. So
yeah. Well, first of all, I'm so glad you're okay. That is so scary. So scary. The other thing that I'm curious about for you, oftentimes for me to make a shift or to really, again, engage and put my brain to work for me, I have to be in a quiet space and I have to be alone. What does that look like for you? Can you just make that shift like when you're cooking dinner? Do you need to sit by yourself? What does that look like for you?
Yes, I definitely need to be alone.
Mhm.
Even just for anything, even when I'm even preparing for this podcast today, right?
Mhm.
I have to like wait for everybody to leave the house so I can focus on my notes and what I was going to say. But definitely when I'm alone with my thoughts,
Mhm.
sometimes it could be bad, but sometimes it could be
Mhm.
usually it's good. Usually it's good because when I'm alone on my thoughts and I can listen to myself, but I'm
Mhm.
able to kind of like rewire or just change my language
Yeah.
the language that I'm speaking to myself. That's
Yeah.
usually how I'm able to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Awareness is our superpower,
Mhm.
right? And an awareness of the thoughts that we're thinking, what we're saying to ourselves. You mentioned about 90% of your thoughts, anyone's thoughts are negative. That is a fact. Like that is a studied fact. And so we have to make shifts in the patterns in which the neurons in our brains are connecting with each other.
Mhm.
And that's what's so beautiful is that we actually have control over that. It's not easy, especially in the beginning,
Right.
especially when you're learning how to do it. But once we learn how to do it, it just becomes a practice
Right.
more than feeling like you're climbing up a mountain,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's definitely a practice and something that you have to work on every single day. It's not
Mhm.
something that like, oh, I learned how to do this today. Great. And then you just kind of like move on with your life. It doesn't
Right.
work like that. You actively have to practice it every single day in order to
Yeah.
have this kind of mindset. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I also want to go back to something that you mentioned, and I have found this to be true, especially in the world of money mindset, scarcity versus abundance. So I grew up in a household where my mom was like the couponing queen. Like we didn't buy anything unless it was on sale at the grocery store. And she had to have a coupon. It had to be on sale with a coupon, but she would only shop on double coupon days, right? So it was the thing. Like as an adult, I'm very impressed with how my mom did that. But my whole upbringing, I had a scarcity mindset around money. And I also wrote about this in my book. I also didn't learn good financial practices until later in life through some really hard situations that I
Mhm.
created myself
Right.
because I didn't have the right mindset around money, but also the right just day-to-day management of money. I did not have those skills early on.
Yeah.
So what I have found as an adult now where it could be very easy for me to reflect on those situations in my past and think, well, it's just the way I'm wired. I'm just not good with money. And actually in my 20s, that's what I told myself.
Mhm.
I'm just not good with money. And I just let that be.
Yeah.
And again, until I learned how to control my mind and actually learn some good financial practices, I was able to shift that. What has that looked like for you? How did you force yourself to have an abundance mindset around money? And is it still something that you work on today?
Yeah, so it's a great question. It's very difficult because a lot of the times I say things and I don't believe it. I don't
Mhm.
believe a lot of the things that I'm saying, but I have to say it enough that eventually I'm going to believe it. Eventually, it's just going to happen.
Mhm.
So, I mean, now obviously, this is something that, it's taken years and years and years of practice. And like I said before, it's not about, how can, I can't afford this or don't have the money to afford it, but like, how can I afford it? What can I do to get myself there? What can I do to get myself there to help open up more opportunities or more abundance to come into my life? And
Right?
it needs a daily practice of just rewording those things and changing it from I can't to I can.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that putting the how can I
Mhm.
in front of that limiting belief. So again, the limiting beliefs are coming from our subconscious mind.
Yes.
Okay. They are there to actually protect you. Our subconscious mind is a data center. It has no logic.
Mm-hmm.
I will give you a very real example of how this has shown up in my adult life. My husband loves to travel like I do. Early on, when our kids were young, we would plan vacations and we would have one vacation per year, essentially. And he would want to plan our next vacation driving home from our current vacation. Okay. Well, I would sit there and stew in the car because I would be like, listen, we just spent all this money and you're already wanting to spend our money again. Like, we can't afford that right now. We can't afford to plan that. And until I switched the narrative around, okay, I might feel like I can't afford this right now. How can I? And actually doing exercises around how can I? So set a timer for 5 minutes and make a list of just all the wackiest creative ideas that you can think of, because good ideas come from bad ones. And until we give ourselves the freedom to brainstorm and come up with those wacky ideas, until we give ourselves that freedom, chances are those limiting beliefs will stay limiting beliefs, right?
Yeah.
So I love, changing that narrative and just putting the words, how can I? Or who am I connected with?
Yeah.
Who am I connected with that can help me? The other affirmation that I said to myself for years is, I am a money magnet.
Literally. Well, I've got two, right? One of them, I do say every single day. So I'm a magnet for financial abundance.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I say to myself every single day. Once I end my gratitude prayer, that is exactly what I say every single day. I'm a magnet for financial abundance. And these are the words, when you put the words I am before this affirmation, you are really just putting that out into the universe. And everything that you're saying after those words are what you're going to attract. So I am a magnet for money. Guess what's going to happen? You are going to be calling money into your life.
Yeah.
May not be today, may not be tomorrow, but eventually. And it's something that happens. It's like magic, right? You say it and then it just comes. It just happens. And then as soon as it happens, you have to be grateful for it. Thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, universe. Thank you, source, whatever it is that you believe in. But like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, because you called on it and it was given to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, just to get into some of the science of why this works is when we say things out loud. Again, I just talked about our subconscious mind. It is a data center and it has no logic. So when we say those affirmations out loud, our subconscious mind is storing that in that data center. Mm-hmm. The more that it hears it, the more input it has, like, okay, I am a money magnet. I am a money magnet. I am a money magnet. And so your subconscious mind will naturally and organically lead you to opportunities based on what you have told it, right? Which is why I am so passionate about when I say my goals out loud every morning when I'm fixing my coffee. The first part of it is, I am so happy and grateful that, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the first part of my goal. And then I state my goal. The other thing that is so important is the way that we are saying these things. So you just mentioned how important it is to say, I am versus I will or I am trying. Mm-hmm. It is not only important the words that we do say, but the words that we don't say. So I will share with you, unless I'm talking about trying a new food, I do not use the word try in my vocabulary. Mm-hmm. Because when we say the word try, we're giving ourselves an out, right? Oh, I'm trying. I'm really trying to work on my mindset. I'm really trying to have an abundance attitude, but blah, 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 blah. We're naturally and organically giving ourselves an out when we use the word try. And that is being programmed into our subconscious mind, right?
Yeah.
Same way when we say the words I am, that is being programmed into the subconscious mind, and it is present tense. So another thing about our subconscious minds is it does not understand future tense. Again, your subconscious mind has no logic. It does not understand, I will make $1 million next year. Cannot compute on that. Okay. I am so happy and grateful that I am earning $1 million this year.
Yep. That's
right?
exactly the orbit. Yep.
Yep. So it's so fun to talk about this with you because I didn't know that we had this in common. And so I'm like, this is so great.
Yeah, I did. I remember when you shared, I think it was Dr. Joe Dispenza's book. I think you shared that a couple of years ago. And I remember thinking, oh, I know who he is. Wait a minute, does Stacy think this way too? Because all of this is very woo and foreign to the people, right? It's just, it crosses a fine line between, earth and the spiritual realm, religion, all of that stuff. So you have to be very careful sometimes anyway, that's how I felt. Like I've always had to be very careful with who I speak about this with and how I speak about this, because, even up until recently, my husband thought I was like really like a witch or something. Like, I'm messing around with potions and lotions and all this. And I was like, no, you have to do all this stuff. Like this is something that is beneficial, not just for you, but like for our family. Like you have to do this all the time. You have to practice saying these things all the time. And it wasn't until like we sat down one day and kind of like gave him the gist of, everything that I do on a daily basis that he really understood, like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool, So it's fun to talk about it with people that kind of understand this whole entire concept, because this is science fact, like you said.
Right. Yeah.
This isn't something that's just, this like some guru or whatever, just like made up, this is something that goes back, centuries.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's so funny because my husband, he does not fully understand sometimes why I choose to be positive. And I don't mean that in a negative way about him. Like it's kind of foreign to him because he's like, what? I don't really understand why you're still being positive about this situation. But it was really interesting because he loves to watch movies and he loves to watch documentaries. And I was traveling and I came home one day and he was like, I just want you to know that I watched a documentary on the power of positivity. And lo and behold, all these successful people, they have a positive mindset. Like it is in their core. And he was like, did you know that? I'm like, yes, honey. In fact, I did, but sometimes our spouses don't quite get us, and that's okay. And I think, it's something that I will continue to always share with my loved ones about positivity and abundance and having the right mindset and how important it is. They have to choose whether or not they want to receive that or whether they're ready to receive that.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's a process and a journey, and that's okay. So it's interesting that your husband thought you were, mixing some positive potions.
Yeah, it's funny that you do say that because like it's true, right? People have like who you're speaking to has to be receptive and open to wanting to hear this. This isn't something that, we learned overnight. This is something that we've been, this is gradually over years and years and years of like learning how to practice this kind of mindset. Sometimes abundance is blocked when we don't feel ready or worthy of it. And I try to explain that to everybody that I come across. Like you just have to be open to abundance, just open to it all of the time. And it's going to come. And if you're ready to receive that message, that's amazing, fantastic. But if not, that's okay too. I'm not here to any of my beliefs on anybody. You know,
Right.
I do love talking about this kind of stuff because it literally changed my life. Like it
Yeah.
changed my entire being. It rewired my brain. It literally changed my life. So whenever I can speak about this to people that understand it and can kind of get it. So mindset is the foundation. Your beliefs about money shape your financial reality. Scarcity mindset versus abundance mindset. One contracts, the other expands. Reframing I can't afford it to I can afford it opens up so many opportunities and possibilities. Abundance is more than just money. Abundance is about time, freedom, joy, relationships, not just dollars. Living abundantly includes giving generously, giving. I'm very big on that. I'm a very generous person. Investing in yourself and creating a margin in your life.
Mhm.
We write the money stories that we grew up with. So how you were talking about your mom and the couponing, and me with my mom with the I can't afford it every other day that I ask her for something. So many of us inherit limiting beliefs like money is the root of all evil, or you can't or you have to work hard to earn money. Awareness is step one, identifying the script and then rewriting it. Align money with purpose. Money is a tool. It amplifies your values. When your goals are value driven, you spend and earn with intention and not guilt. Money grows where it's valued. Treat your money like a relationship. Give it attention, give it respect and structure. Don't fear money. Track it, budget it, and speak positively about it. Daily habits for an abundant mindset. So these are these wonderful affirmations that you can practice every day. First and foremost, practice gratitude every single day, but practice gratitude for what you already have. Just be grateful that just be grateful for the things that you have right now, and use affirmations like, I am a magnet for money, or I am a magnet for financial abundance, and visualize what financial freedom looks like and feels like for you. You attract what you believe you deserve. I'll say that again. You attract what you believe you deserve. Self-worth is directly tied to your net worth. That's so important, especially for entrepreneurs.
Yep.
Set your boundaries. And I have this conversation with my husband all the time. Set your rates and stop undercharging. He always bugs me about, we're charging too much. People are going to start looking elsewhere. And I'm like, no, they're not, sweetie. No, they're not. They're charging what we are worth. So stay open to receiving. Sometimes abundance, like I said before, sometimes abundance is blocked because we don't feel ready or worthy of it. Celebrate the small wins to show the universe that you're ready for more. And lastly, I'd like to say, I'd like to end off with this affirmation. One of the affirmations that I have written down over here on my desk, and it's, I don't chase money. I align myself with opportunities that reflect the abundant life that I'm creating for myself.
Say that again.
I don't chase money. I align myself with opportunities that reflect the abundant life that I'm creating for myself.
Love that, girl.
Yes.
Love that.
And then lastly, I just wanted to share, where all this came from. So I do have to give a lot of credit to someone who completely transformed the way that I not just see money, but myself. She's my spiritual teacher now in heaven, Patricia Moreno. She's the creator of the Intensate practice, which is a practice involving movement and mantras. Inten meaning intention and sati meaning mindfulness. Patricia taught me that the most powerful tool we have in our minds, specifically our thoughts and the words we speak to ourselves daily. Her method combined movement, affirmations, and mindfulness in a way that made it impossible not to feel the shift happening inside. She always said, where your attention goes, your energy flows. And that absolutely applies to how we view abundance. It was through her teachings that I learned abundance isn't something just that's out there that we have to chase. It starts from within. She helped me realize that I wasn't broken or lacking. I just needed to reprogram my thoughts. I had been operating from fear and scarcity in my entire life. And through the practice of Intensati, I was able to flip the script to one of empowerment and worthiness. Patricia's affirmations still echo in my mind today. Things like, I'm worthy of wealth. I'm open to receiving all that is meant for me. I choose faith over fear. Because these became mantras that literally rewired the way I thought about money, success, and receiving. So when I talk about money mindset and abundance, I'm really talking about self-love, belief, and intention. So Patricia gave me the tools to believe that I'm not just capable of success, I deserve it. And that message has stuck with me ever since. So
I love that.
yes.
I love that so much. One of the things that I think is important to highlight too, thank you for sharing all of that, is that an abundance mindset is a daily practice. And sometimes it can be difficult to carve out the time to do the affirmations. I will speak from my own experience, and I think you're probably very similar. For me, I like to do these types of activities first thing in the morning when our brains are freshest. For most, when my brain is freshest, I'll tell you. The other thing that I think is so important is to do them, not just when you're feeling like you need to do them. It has to be a habit, because what we are doing is we are training new patterns in our mind. And in order to do that, we have to do it over and over and over and over again. Just think about, driving home. The first time you drove home after you moved, you needed to break out a GPS. Now, when you drive home, you probably don't even remember driving there because it's just natural and organic. The same thing, we're reprogramming our minds to naturally and organically have an abundance mindset and attract the life you want to live. Attract that financial freedom. In order to do that, we have to do these mindset affirmations, visualizations each and every day. Would you agree?
1,000%. 1,000%. Yeah. It has to be done every single day, whether or not, like you said, you don't do them when you're in a rut. You're doing them every single day, constantly, because guess what? I haven't been in a rut in a really long time.
Yeah.
And it's because these are practices that I do every single day. But yes, I agree 100%.
Yeah. The other thing I'm curious about is how intuition plays into this for you. So for me, not only does my abundance mindset help me look for new opportunities, it also helps to protect me from opportunities that I shouldn't be spending my time and energy and effort on. And it actually, just this morning, I was debating about whether or not I wanted to secure a property for my portfolio. And my loud mind, was saying, yeah, you should do that. You should do that. And there was something inside of me that is just like, nope, it does not look like it does on the surface. And I don't know what it is about this property, but I just feel very strongly that I should not pursue it. And so a lot of people might say, well, that's fear talking. No, fear is loud. Fear is going to yell at you. Your intuition, your God rod is what I call it, because I am a person of faith. And again, not to, push my beliefs on anyone else. It's just how I look at the world. But I believe God was telling me, nope, this is not the right opportunity. Keep looking, right? And it wasn't loud. It was whispers. It was soft, but I could feel it in my core. I'm curious for you, how does intuition, your God rod, whatever you want to call it, how does this play into your own abundance mindset?
Yeah. So have you ever heard of the saying, a woman's intuition is never wrong? Yeah, that's not a lie. It's very, very true. When your intuition is telling you not to do something, listen to it. Listen to it, because 9 out of 10 times it's going to be right. You just have to listen and pay attention, because sometimes, just like you said, some people might think that it's fear talking, but you yourself know that it's an intuition. And if it's something that's constantly nagging at you, like it's just constantly, just constant doubt, right? That just keeps coming up and coming up and coming up. That's your intuition speaking. So it's important to just listen to it because it's going to be right 9 out of 10 times.
And I think also it's so important to have the right community of people around you who also have, number one, abundance mindset, but number two, can support you and maybe help you discern, is this fear talking or is this my intuition talking? Because it's not always clear.
Yeah.
And until you have made choices based on your intuition enough to realize, okay, I know what it feels like in my body when my intuition is talking. Again, I think having the right people around you, I know Patricia was a mentor for you. I think it's so, so, so important to have a community around you or other people who can support you as you grow in mastering your mindset.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah. It's about reaching out and kind of like, hey, can you do me a favor? I have a little bit of doubt about something. Can I run this by you real quick? And I do that a lot with my brother. My brother and I are always just kind of like tag teaming back and forth. When I think something's a little off, but I'm not 100% sure, it's like you need that. What's the word? You just need
sounding board
confirmation from someone else. Like, okay, good. I wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad, but it's important to tap into those resources and to your, to your family, to your friends, to my pod girls, which, all the time, that's what we do almost on a daily basis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's so good. I'm so grateful that we were able to have this conversation because as I was prepping for this interview, I was like, I am just blown away that you and I have this in common and I've never known about it for years, right? For years. And so I feel like I've got an even deeper connection to you now. And I'm just very grateful for your willingness to talk about it.
Yes. Thank you so much. And I do have to thank Alicia because honestly, I never want to do these things because I don't like being the center of I feel like when I do things like this, I'm putting myself in the center of the stage or wanting to be the center of attention. And I'm far from that. I'm very much the behind the scenes kind of person. I don't like to be out in the open, expressing my thoughts and my feelings and my words. So I have to thank her because she pushes me to do things out of my comfort zone. And I always, I never want to do it. But once I do, I'm like, you know what? I'm so happy I did that. So thank you. You always call. I'm going to send her a message. Like, thank you for pushing me to do this.
Shout out to Alicia, who, I wrote it in my 90-day momentum maker. She's one of the people I'm grateful for today because not only does she support our amazing women inside of our accelerator program and our sisterhood, she's a pod leader. She works directly with me as well and is an amazing, amazing resource and brain and human. Right.
And she's a great friend. Really, really is such a great friend. Yeah. But I'm so happy that we've connected. I've always felt drawn to you for many reasons. And this even more. This is more a reason why I feel like I always need to be connected.
Yeah. I love that. Okay. Really quickly, I'm going to shift to something very important, the lightning round. Okay. We haven't really talked about short-term rentals at all. No. But hopefully our conversation, if you're listening or watching, hopefully our conversation has helped you in some way because abundance mindset around money will absolutely serve you well, whether you're investing in real estate, whether you're growing your short-term rental portfolio, whether you're bringing on new co-hosting or property management clients. This absolutely applies to you. So I hope that it has been helpful. But really quickly, Esmeralda, where is your favorite place to vacation?
Oh, I mean, I can never get sick of it, but the Dominican Republic. It's where my family's from. My husband's from there. We go several times a year. We have property there.
I know you have property there, girl.
And it's just the most beautiful place to visit. The people are so kind. And I don't know, it's just a beautiful place to visit. So if you've ever had the chance, if you've never had the chance to go, go. I promise you, you're going to love it. It's a beautiful island. You're going to fall in love with it.
I love it. I love it. Okay. What's one place you've never been that you want to visit?
Oh, well, you know what? Last year, I think I have to rewatch this podcast, but I think I was in Paris, or Europe. I don't remember. And I ended up going to Paris just this past March with my daughter for her birthday. So that was really, really fun.
Oh my God.
Yes. So I do want to visit more countries in Europe. This year, believe it or not, we did Paris and I did Italy as well.
Italy. I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would love to visit Germany. That's like the next one of my European countries. So Germany is next on my list.
I love it. I love it. I remember seeing your pictures of your Italy trip, and it was right around the time when I was going as well. I don't know about you, but I could go spend a month in Italy alone.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I loved it so much.
So good. The food was amazing. The just everything, the museums, everything, the culture, everything about it is just like, yeah, I agree. Yeah. You could spend months there if you let me.
There you go. We're going to have to do a European trip for the accelerator or something.
That would be amazing. Oh my gosh. Sign me up. Sign me up.
Okay. Next question is, what's one thing you know now that you wished you knew when you were starting out in the world of shifting your mindset?
Oh gosh, it's such a hard question. What's one thing that I know now? Just believe in myself, believe that I could do it, believe that I'm capable of anything and everything. You know, this particular business, right? People think that it's for, wealthy old people. and it, I don't mean to say it like that, but like, they think it's just for, only wealthy people can achieve this, right? And it's not true. Everybody can achieve generational wealth if you take the right steps in getting yourself there. Yeah. And one of the right steps is getting yourself involved with communities like your community, the accelerator program, and there are also, I do have to say that there are also communities that are more geared towards kind of wanting to take your money and not giving value to the things that they're providing you. And it's something that one of the reasons why I was attracted to Stacy and her group is because you just bring so much value, and it's not about, what I can give to you. It's more about what can you give to us, what you give to the community. And that type of communities are the type of people that you need to kind of surround yourself with.
Thank you. Thank you. I do. And that is how I think. Like, I'm always thinking and looking for opportunities for how can I utilize this experience to serve my accelerator family or my sisterhood, right? Because I truly believe that when we pay it forward, the world becomes a better place, right?
Yeah, 100%. Generosity is what attracts abundance. So you are so generous with your time and with your tools and with your resources. And that's the reason why I don't know it, but I'm sure that you are abundantly blessed right now. And it's because you give so much and you give from your heart and don't ever give with the expectation of receiving anything in return. Like you literally do that from the bottom of your heart. And I'm extremely grateful for it. I'm sure that everybody else that's in your community that you've been able to serve and help are also just as equally grateful as I am.
It's funny. A lot of people will ask me about my work, and I don't consider it work. Like, I truly love what I do. And I am grateful that I go to bed every night. Like, my heart is warm because I feel like when you do things that help other people, at least for me, that brings me joy, right? And so I'm always like, it's a really weird, but it's selfish in a way because I'm wanting to fill up my own cup because I love what I do so much. It sounds very strange, but
what's that saying? When you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
Exactly. Exactly.
So true. It is so true. And it's, when you give like that and you really truly give from the heart, I mean, it just says so much about you as a person, but it's why you are so abundantly blessed and why you will continue to be abundantly blessed. And, there's so many good things that are going to be coming your way always. Like you're just going to be, so much goodness is going to be flowing into your life because you are a good person and you do things from the heart and you can go to bed with what's the word? You can go to bed with a grateful heart every single night because you're a good person.
I'm getting goosebumps, Esmeralda. Thank you. I so appreciate that. Appreciate that. Okay, next question. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Oh my goodness. I think I shared this before. I forget the name of the saying. It's like, don't put off tomorrow what you could get done today. Basically, don't procrastinate. I'm the queen procrastinator. I mean, I honestly have been working very diligently on not doing that. But just get it done. Just do it. Don't push it off. Just do it because, just do it.
Amen. Amen, sister. Amen. Last question. What's one thing and or person that you're grateful for today?
Well, aside from you, I am grateful for you. I'm grateful for my husband, Osiris. Shout out to my honey bunny. We have been through so much together as a couple, as a family, and we have built this beautiful life for ourselves. And we just complement each other so well. So I'm so incredibly grateful for him, for all of his hard work. He's out busting his butt today, cleaning windows in New York City. And it's all to help better our lives and our financial future.
I love that. I love that. So good. Esmeralda, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Anytime. Thank you so much for having me. It was an absolute pleasure to spend this 1 hour chatting with you about all things abundance.
All things abundance.
All things abundance. We need to have, well, actually, I should say this. So Patricia Moreno, the woman behind Insensati, she did pass away, unfortunately, a few years ago. And Lucy Osborne, which is a good dear friend of mine, actually runs the program now. So they, this is something that it's still ongoing. She does offer these classes on a weekly basis online that you can register for. So if you go on,
amazing.
If you go to Insensati, the Instagram page, or just go to Instagram, follow her, and you'll love it. They talk about all things abundance and mindset, and it's just a great community, to join aside from, real estate. Because I feel like our world revolves around everything that has to do with short-term rentals.
Right.
It's nice to kind of like do other things.
Right. Exactly.
You can bring the two together.
Yeah. I love it. So good.